It's time for Baby and Toddler Instructions with host Blythe Lipman. Blythe is a nationally renowned infant and toddler expert who has over 30 years' experience helping moms and dads regain their sanity, teaching them how to survive, and giving them the confidence they need to be the best parents ever. From sleeping to crying to potty training to choosing a preschool and so much more. If you're a parent, Baby and Toddler Instructions is the show you've been looking for. Now here's your host, Blythe Lipman.
Well, good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you might be in. Thanks so much for tuning in, but I have to say this family at toginet.com play some great music before the shows. I am sitting here grooving. I have to tell you, it has nothing to do with babies and toddlers, but I do want to share this. If you are having a crappy day, and we all have them sometimes, turn on some music and just dance. It makes you feel so much better, and it doesn't matter. I mean, don't do it at work. It doesn't matter what you look like. Just have fun. It will make you feel so much better, and it's great exercise. Anyway, back to the show. The famous Jackie Silver from Aging Backwards is going to be with us in just a bit, and she's going to share her many beauty secrets to help, new moms, women, any women, moms, men to look and feel younger, whether you have sleep deprivation or not. I was just looking at her website, agingbackwards.com. You have to go visit that. I mean, there's so much stuff on there, and Jackie's great. Anyway, she'll be with us in just a little bit. Happy first week of summer. It is going to be 112 degrees here in Arizona next week. Phew. But as I promised last year, I said last summer, no complaints this year. I don't want to be that broken record, but I have to say the mornings are still beautiful. In the 70s, we can walk. As long as you get up with the roosters, a little dark. But I do want to wish everyone lots of sunshine and a fun summer. And for those of you in the Midwest, no more rain, no more tornadoes. No more flooding. I mean, I am so sorry you guys have such bad weather. I hope it goes away soon. So I'll send out some good weather energy. We did have a recall this week. Let me see. Nokia recalled the tablet travel charger. It says the travel charger kits for the Nokia Lumia 2520 tablets. The plastic cover on the charger's exchangeable plugs can come loose and separate, exposing internal components that can pose an electrocution hazard. If you touch it while it remains in a live socket, yikes. If you have one of those Nokia tablets, you know what, don't use the travel charger kit. It's summertime, you're going to go on trips, and we all want to take our chargers with us, make it easy. Go to my websites, babyinstructions.com or mybestparentingadvice.com. Go to the recall page. I've already listed that and lots of other recalls that you want to look at. As I brings on so many fun new activities, new places, people, pools, to name a few. And I thought today I would share a few tips from help. My toddler came without instructions. I have a chapter called Mommy, There's a Monster in My Closet. And as many of you know, sometimes your toddlers might be afraid of something, and even your older kids. And it could seem irrational to you, but it's so frightening to them, and it will make it easier if you're prepared and know how to handle the fears and the tears. Remember, we're all different, and not every toddler, not every child has these fears, any fears. A lot of toddlers are fearless. So relax, handle it, and move on. So a couple tips. Especially in the summer, if you're going to be around the water, there's a lot of kids that are afraid of the water. So, if your toddler's not a fish and she likes to stay on dry land, the first mention of a pool or an ocean brings those tears, don't ever pressure your toddler into going in the water. And never, ever make them stay in the pool if they're scared. What happens is it starts gradually. Maybe one day they'll put their toe in. Maybe the next day they will put their whole foot in. Just don't push it, and don't ever shame your toddler. Don't say, look at your big sister. Look, she's not afraid of the water, because, different things are scary to different toddlers, different people. So if you are going to be around the water, don't push it. You can go to the library, get some books about the pool, about the ocean. Slowly, and not all kids turn into fish, and that's okay. You know what? They're all different. Also, fear of new people. You know, you may meet lots of new people in your travels this summer, and a lot of toddlers are shy. Don't ever say, "You love Aunt Ruth. Go give her a kiss. Look, you're going to make her cry." I mean, you know, again, everybody's different. I don't mean to be a broken record, but honestly, it's okay to let your toddler sit on your lap while you talk to a stranger. You know what? If you're in a play group and your toddler only wants to sit next to mommy, it will get a little better as they get used to things. Some toddlers have to ease in to new situations, new people. And think about when you were a toddler or when you were little. Were you shy? Were you shy when you were 6 or 7? Sometimes the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So I have also lots of other great tips in this chapter called Mommy, There's a Monster in My Closet. Fear of trying new activities, climbing, jumping, going down the slide, fear of animals. You know, these are real, and if you know how to handle them, it will make your life so much easier. So check out my Help My Toddler Came Without Instructions and Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. You can get them at Barnes & Noble, Amazon. They're on Audible, so you can have somebody read to you because we're all so busy. Anyway, so those were the tips today for my book. Also, a couple really interesting articles that I wanted to share with you. First of all, the federal officials, for the first time, are recommending that young children and pregnant or breastfeeding women eat a minimum of 2 to 3 servings a week of fish that's low in mercury in order to get the health benefits. You know, previously they said that it wasn't such a great idea that pregnant or breastfeeding women should eat so much fish, again, because of the mercury, but now they've changed it, and it says because fish contains heart-healthy oils, the new recommendations are still advising to not eat sharks, swordfish, king mackerel, and tilefish from the Gulf of Mexico because they do have high levels of mercury. But again, you know what, always check with your doctor too, and they're constantly changing things and doing new studies. So check with your doctors first, especially if you're pregnant and you're breastfeeding, and see what they think. Also, there was a really interesting article in the New York Times in the travel section on Sunday. It says, "May I match your peas and adjust your bib, sir?" Forget about packing those small jars of baby food anymore. Earlier this year, when the chief at the Rosewood Little Dix Bay on the Virgin Gorda in the British Virgin Islands began offering guests house-blended fruits and vegetables, including pumpkin and pear puree, sweet potato mash with veal and broccoli. And it was all based on his experience of making baby food for his daughter. So now a lot of the hotels are offering gourmet, organic baby food. So if you are going to be in Mexico's Riviera Maya, if you're going to go on the Crystal Cruise Line, or if you're just getting ready to go on a trip, check if you have a baby and see if they do make the baby food. It will make your life so much easier if you don't have to drag things. You know, they don't always come in jars anymore. We have these great pouches of baby food, so you can also take those if you're going on a trip and they don't make the baby food. So let's see. What do we have? I think now we're going to welcome Jackie because I am so excited to talk to her. Jackie Silver is aging backwards. She shares her secrets, tips, and shortcuts in her books on her website, agingbackwards.com. She's been on TV, radio, print, and in person. She's a contributor to and featured expert on various lifestyle websites and is sought after as an anti-aging and beauty expert by the media. And I'll tell you what, I told you at the beginning of the show in case you didn't tune in. I was looking at the website and oh my goodness, you know what? I almost didn't get on the show in time because there's such great information there. So Jackie, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being on this morning.
Well, thank you for that beautiful introduction and thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited you're here, and honestly, your website's beautiful, but what's in it is more beautiful. I didn't know where to look first because, you know, as a woman, as a mother, even though my children are grown, we always want to age backwards. How in the world did you get into this? because you're beautiful.
I love that question. Oh, thank you. And I love that question because, basically I was kind of born not ever wanting to get any older. And so that kind of led me to spend my entire life figuring out what I can do to stay young, even before I was doing my aging backwards business. And I would be the one that all my friends would come to, and they'd say, what do you do about this wrinkle? Or what do you do about that thing? And, it just turned out like I thought, if I can help my friends and their friends, maybe I can help everybody or whoever wants help.
Well, first I have to say something. You know what I love on your website? You have a little purple button that says, this is what I look like when I was 12. And I looked at that button and it cracked me up. I didn't have your hair, but I did sort of look like your body. So,
well, yeah, for the people who are listening who haven't clicked that purple button, I always say I invented childhood obesity. I'm not proud of that, but I was the only fat girl in my class, in my whole school practically. And the kids made fun of me and they kind of bullied me a little bit, but that maybe was a blessing in disguise because I really learned at an early age how to lose weight and keep it off. And I wasn't there, now I'm in my 50s and I'm not one of those people that has to battle their weight constantly. And I'm really happy about that.
So I'm going to ask the obvious question here. Is there one secret? I mean, we all know calories in, calories out. Is there one quick secret? Because we're going to have a break in just about 1 minute.
There is a secret, and it's one that people really don't like to hear, but it's exercise is the fountain of youth, and it's also the key to losing weight and maintaining weight. I mean, yes, it's about what you eat, but for me personally, it's about the exercise. I've exercised continuously since I was 17 years old, except when I had my son, and that was over 20 years ago. And I know we're going to a break, so I just want to say that, if you're not exercising, check with your doctor, and if you're allowed to, get started in some kind of exercise.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think during the break, we should all get up and do some jumping jacks. And if you do it, I think you should call and tell us that you did it. The number here is 877-864-4869. So during those tunes, there's good tunes on too. So you could do jumping jacks to the tunes that are coming up in about 2 seconds. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these. Get ready to live La Bella Vita with Dawn Catherine on TogiNet.com. Live La Bella Vita. If you're wanting to know all the beauty tricks of the trade and the latest fashion trends before everyone else, this is your show. If you admire celebrities' beauty and their fashion sense, this is your show. Do you love wine and want to know more about the process it takes to make wine from the vine to the bottle? This is your show. Live La Bella Vita. For more on the show and your host, check out our website, labellavitacosmetico.com. This is the kind of show you can sink your teeth into. If you enjoy traveling and food and family, all with an Italian flair, then you can live La Bella Vita with your host, Dawn Catherine. Wednesday nights at midnight, 11 p.m. Central, on TogiNet.com.
This is Buzz Local Radio. There's 3 topics here, and we just added a 4th because we started talking about hot dogs.
Yes.
Yep, I'm in a band. He's in a band. We both had guitars, so I went over to his house Christmas Day day.
We had to start a band.
And I think we wrote 4 or 5 songs that afternoon.
And Cannibalistic Fish was one of them. Cannibalistic Fish.
I couldn't do the dreads. My mom would not let me wear my pants backwards to school either. That was wiggity, wiggity, wiggity.
Buzz Local Radio. Available for free download on TogiNet.com. That's TogiNet.com.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. The hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents.
Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back. I'm here with my wonderful guest, Jackie Silver from Aging Backwards. And if you haven't looked at her site, agingbackwards.com, it is terrific. She has wonderful tips on everything. And before the break, we were talking about the number one thing that helps you to lose weight, keep your weight off. And we all know that ugly word, exercise. So, Jackie, if you don't have time to exercise, how much time do you think you need? I mean, I can tell you, I have steps in my house. Sometimes I'll go up and down the steps 10 times if I don't have time, so I can do something. And by the way, if you just did your jumping jacks during the break, like I did, call us at 877-864-4869. So, Jackie, how much time do you think you need to spend?
Well, I personally like to work out. I do cardio and weights. Weights are really important, about 3 days a week, for your muscle tone, especially if you're over 40, because we lose muscle tone as we age. But, it depends on the person, and it depends on, their level that they're starting at. But people who are sedentary, anything that they do, whether it's walking up the steps, like you said, or walking in general, the experts who study exercise are finding out that the really best way to exercise for your heart and lungs and weight loss and maintenance is to do progressively more intense, yet progressively shorter intervals. So I like to use a jump rope. I mean, you can do that with your kids, and they love it so much. And jump rope is really the perfect type of exercise because you can't go very long, most people, unless you're a boxer, And so when you take your jump rope out with your kids, you do these intervals. Just make them a little bit shorter and a little bit more intense. Do 5 of those, and you're good to go. That's a great way to work out, and I do that all the time.
And you know what? And it's easy. If you travel, you can always take your jump rope. I like to put music on, and then I try not to pay attention to what I'm doing because, you know what? Let's face it. It's tough to get back into exercise, if you haven't done it, if you don't have time. But let me ask you something else, especially for new moms. They're always worried about their weight after they have babies. And I know moms will come to me after a month and go, look, I didn't lose my weight yet. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. 9 months, be gentle with yourself. So because new moms don't have much free time, when they look in the mirror and they see their circles and they have the T-shirt on that has throw up on it and they just don't feel pretty, do you have a few tips that can help them feel better?
Well, yeah, first of all, the main tip is stop beating yourself up and stop worrying about it. Because just like you said, 9 months at least to lose the baby weight. It took me, when my son was 8 months old, I still had 20 pounds to lose. And I actually went on Jenny Craig at that time. Because you have to be strict and disciplined, but not right away. Let your body get back to its regular shape, especially if you're, having babies on the older side, like maybe late 30s or even 40s, your body is going to take longer. It's not going to snap back into shape like these celebrities you see in Hollywood. These women unhealthily starve themselves, and it's not good for the mother and it's not good for the baby. So my first word of advice is you will lose the weight eventually if you want to. Give yourself a break. Let yourself relax. That doesn't mean pig out. It means just eat healthy choices, eat healthy foods, make healthy choices. When your doctor says you can exercise, listen, babies take a lot of naps. I do remember that, even though it was 20 years ago. And during naps, you're going to be tired, but maybe during one of those naps, you can do the jumping jacks or do the steps or something that you can, or even, take your jump rope in the living room if you have enough room. There are many things people can do, but the main thing is don't be so hard on yourself, because chronic stress is the number one thing that ages us and causes disease.
So one thing I do want to add that I always tell my new moms, don't forget to drink, especially in the summer. And I don't mean alcohol. I tell my new moms every time, you can do that later too. But anyway, every time your baby eats, drink some water. If you don't like water, iced tea, whatever it is, because if you don't stay hydrated, you don't have the energy. And I know, especially living in Arizona, when I don't drink enough, I am ready to fall on my face. And every single time it's because I haven't had enough water to drink during the day.
I love that you mentioned that, because one of the things that happens is as we get older, and I don't mean old, I mean like, in your late 20s, early 30s and above, our ability to tell the difference between hunger and thirst kind of lessens. So what I do if I think I'm hungry is I drink a big glass of cold water. And if that doesn't fill me up, then maybe I really am hungry. I might have some almonds or something, as a snack. But you're right. Drinking water is to stay hydrated is so important. And, a lot of times we just like to eat more than drink. A lot of people do. I'm one of those people. So, yeah, I force myself to drink a lot of water, too.
And you have to. You really have to. I never drank a lot of water until I moved out here. And you really have to. And what you're saying, too, when you're dehydrated and you're so tired, we always want to go for the sugar and not for the glass of water. The water's not fun. A cookie's more fun. But it's so important to do that. What about, so is your favorite go-to snack almonds? We hear everybody say eat almonds. Dr. Oz the other day had somebody on that said almonds make you happy. That's...
Well, they don't necessarily make you happy, okay? Would you rather eat almonds or ice cream? Okay, I'd rather have ice cream, but almonds are like the perfect snack. It's like Mother Nature's perfect snack because they have a lot of ingredients that are really good for you. They have protein, they're good for your nails and your hair, and they have fat, but they have a good kind of fat, so they're actually quite satisfying. That doesn't mean eat a bag of almonds. The amount is like 6 to 12 almonds. It's not a lot, but the other thing that people tend to not do is they don't chew their food enough. We're so excited to eat that we just keep, wolfing down our food. So especially an almond, they take a long time to chew. So some people say count to 50 when you chew or whatever. But what I do is I just chew it up enough to where it's like really like baby food in my mouth. Some people don't like that, and that's why they don't chew their food enough. It's better for digestion. It's better to keep you full. Chew your food thoroughly.
That's a really good tip because we don't. We shovel it in, and then we go, what did I just eat?
Right. Or we watch TV and shovel it in and say, what did I just eat? That's another thing. I had a really bad habit of watching TV, and it became like a food trigger. As soon as I turned the TV on, I wanted to eat, even if I was not even hungry, even if I just ate dinner. So, be aware of these food triggers that happen. So what I had to do is I actually had to stop watching TV for a couple of weeks so I could break myself. Well, they say it takes 21 days to break a habit or form a new habit. So I didn't watch TV for a few weeks until I could stop that link between my brain and eating and the TV.
That's such a good tip. I'll tell you what works for me sometimes because, it's fun to sit there and eat something, pretzels or something not good for you. I take my laptop in front of the TV and how many of us have time to clean out our emails? And I will work on the emails trying to clean out the computer so I don't eat, and it works sometimes, it doesn't. But whatever you have to do, you're absolutely right because it's mindless eating. And we're not always hungry.
And you know what else is good is if you really want to eat in front of the TV, my two favorite things to do in front of the TV now, if I'm really wanting to eat, is I freeze red grapes and I eat frozen grapes because you have to eat them slowly or you get brain freeze, and they taste like candy. And another thing I like to do if you really want an extra indulgent snack that's not too bad is I melt dark chocolate and freeze bananas and dip the frozen banana pieces into the dark chocolate. Once the banana pieces are frozen, it will harden the chocolate pretty quickly, so you can just put it in the refrigerator for a few minutes. And then you have a really nice, dark chocolate-covered frozen banana. And you feel like you're really indulging, but it's not as bad as having chips or, a candy bar.
No, you know what? It's not. And I have bought the not frozen, but they have chocolate-covered bananas like at Whole Foods and Sprouts. And, well, not everybody has Sprouts. But the problem is if you buy the bag of them, you have to take things out. I find not to eat things out of a bag. When you eat things out of a bag, you have no idea what you're eating. So I take things out and count them and put them in a little bowl.
Yes, that's a great suggestion.
So I don't eat the whole bag.
One thing glad you mentioned that, is read the label, because that whole bag might actually be 5 servings, and then the calorie count is per serving. So if it says 100 calories, you think, oh, this isn't bad, but maybe it's 5 or 8 servings. That means the whole bag of whatever it is you're feasting on is at 5 or 800 calories.
Right. That's a really good thing to remember. Also, you say that there is one hidden food ingredient that you should always avoid.
Yes. It's actually, I love this. They're taking it out of a lot of foods because I guess, the word has gotten out and people are complaining or not buying those products. But it's called sodium benzoate, and it's a preservative that's in a lot of frozen foods. It's in a lot of salad dressings, even some sodas. And it, according to his name is Professor Peter Piper, but there's nothing funny about his findings.
Mm-hmm.
He did a test on this sodium benzoate and found out that it actually inactivates your DNA. So that can't be good, right? Can't be good for your health and can't be good for staying young. So I look at the label and always avoid any product that has sodium benzoate. I noticed, though, that I used to see it a lot in hummus, and hummus is so good for you. It's chickpea. It's really an excellent snack. It's a great source of protein, but then it would have sodium benzoate in it, certain brands. I notice now whenever I read the label on different hummuses that they've taken out the sodium benzoate. I don't know if they've hidden it under another name. Hopefully not. But, always try to buy organic and natural, all natural organic if possible, because then you know that they're usually not hiding anything.
That's so true. And you know what? I just have to say this. It's really easy to make your own hummus. I mean, honestly, it's chickpeas, it's tahini, and you can put whatever else you want in it, and some olive oil. And if you have a magic bullet, it works in that. So if you don't want to buy any of this and worry about the sodium benzoate or anything else, it's easy. It takes a few minutes, and also hummus lasts a while in the refrigerator. Not a month, but it lasts a good week. And we make it here all the time because it's so easy. But anyway, on that note, we are going for a break. Time for more jumping jacks. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with more help. For help, my baby came without instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
Baby love, my baby love, I need you, oh, I need you.
Shh, listen, something is brewing. The beautiful business evolution is coming. The way we do business is about to change for the better, forever. This is real business at its very best. On Beautiful Business Radio, you will learn what it means to truly prosper, how to nourish yourself and your business, how to earn what you deserve and make a difference in the world. The tide is rising, the change is here. Discover a new way to live, love, and partner with yourself and your business on Philippa Rowlands Presents Beautiful Business Radio, where you matter and your business thrives, every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
Goals, objectives, business and action plans. How important are they for me to manage? Whether you're an executive, entrepreneur, or maybe you're just someone looking to advance your career and want to be confidently prepared for your future, business and life coach Carmen Carosa can help you remove obstacles and move forward in the right direction. Carmen is known as the real-world coach for a reason. His no-nonsense style, along with an innate ability to form connections with people, gives you a unique opportunity to see higher and further than ever before. We live and work in an ever-changing, complicated world that can leave us with questions about every decision we make. Join host Carmen Carosa, business and life coach, on Forward Motion every Monday at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. You will realize dreams and aspirations you thought were out of reach.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. The hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back. I'm here with my wonderful guest, Jackie Silver from Aging Backwards. She has books. She has tips. She's been on TV. She's been on radio. She's on radio now. Anyway, check out her website, agingbackwards.com. It's wonderful. Jackie, so what is the one thing that the healthiest people and the ones that live the longest do?
Well, it may sound strange. People might be thinking when you ask that, is it sleep? That's good for you. Is it exercise? We just talked about that. What is the one thing that the healthiest people do that live the longest? They volunteer on a regular basis. Isn't that amazing? Who would ever think of that? That that's the one thing. But we don't mean like just writing a check to a charity, which is also wonderful and always welcome. But the studies show that people who volunteer in person, one-on-one, are the healthiest and live the longest. And there's something called the helper's high that you get when you help other people. You may have experienced that, and the people listening, you know, when you help somebody, it just makes you feel so good, right? And
you know what?
This helper's high feeling, you can actually even recapture it by just remembering what you did to help other people. It's an amazing concept.
You know, I'm so happy you said that, and I didn't know what you were going to say, but it's so true because I volunteer at the at one of the shelters for the pregnant moms, and there's nothing like it. And even though we're all so busy and so many times we'll say, I don't have time, even just an hour a week. You know, I know many of my friends go to the assisted living and nursing homes and they read to some of the patients, or they just sit and talk and visit, and there's nothing like it because it's just feel good. It feels good, doesn't cost anything except the gas to get there, and it's so worth it. What a great thing.
Yeah, if sitting and reading isn't like something someone's up to or wants to do, here's what I used to do, and I'm looking now because I just moved. I'm looking for a new place to do this, but I talk about the assisted living. I used to call the bingo numbers on Monday night at the assisted living. Actually, it was more of an independent living, but it was like that. Mm-hmm. And I was like in love with these women. It was so much fun, and I had so much to learn from them. They were all in their 70s, 80s, some of them 90s, close to 100. And it was so fun and just a great experience. I did it for 3 years every Monday.
What a great idea. That's a great idea. I have to remember that.
Yeah, so you're having fun along with them because some people equate volunteering with work. You know what I mean? So just an idea of things you can do. You could read to people, like you said. I love that idea. It doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to be reading War and Peace. You can read magazines to them. You can volunteer to call the bingo numbers. If you have a special talent, you know, a lot of them will say, you know, maybe you're a nail person. Come on over and do nails for them. Different things that you can do that they just love so much.
That's such a great tip. I would have never thought that. Also, I am sitting here with my 1 cup of coffee that I drink a day. I try not to do more, but it says there's some new information about drinking coffee.
You know, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Oh, your 1 cup of coffee, you try not to do more. There's no reason not to do more unless your doctor advises you against it. Because study after study shows that coffee wards off Alzheimer's. And we're talking 5 or 6 cups of coffee a day. Not everybody wants to do that, including me. But coffee is good for your brain. It helps you focus. It somehow avoids, wards off Alzheimer's, according to the studies. And the new information that you were referring to is that there was a recent study, very recently, like maybe around 2 months ago it came out, that showed that coffee is as hydrating as water. You know, they always say, oh, coffee dehydrates you. It didn't even say decaf. It said coffee. So you can Google that. You and everyone listening, Google coffee is as hydrating as water. And that's good news because you can count coffee as part of your 8 glasses of water a day for people who find it hard to get a lot of liquids, you know?
I'm happy to hear that because sometimes at 3 o'clock when I'm probably dehydrated and want cookies, I'm afraid to do the coffee. I think, you know what, I just already had my coffee. Maybe it's not so good, but good. Now I'm going to have that coffee.
Well, here's another thing from me about coffee. I don't know about everybody else, but when I drink coffee, it kind of makes me thirsty for water. So I end up having coffee and water.
You know what? That's good. And then we're really hydrated. But what about that cookie we want to dip in the coffee?
Well, I have a theory about that too. And my theory is everything in moderation. There's plenty of whole grain, naturally sweetened with juice cookies at all those health food stores out there. Yes, it's carbohydrate. Yes, the whole box would not be appropriate. But you know what? A half a cookie or a cookie from a really reputable organic company is not going to hurt. And actually it could help because it could satisfy that craving and let you know that you're not feeling deprived.
I have to say, I love those cat cookies from Trader Joe's. If you have a Trader Joe's near you, I think you can eat like 12 of them for not a lot of calories.
Yeah, I shopped at Trader Joe's for 4 years straight and nowhere else because when I was in New York City, there was no place else nearby to shop. But I've tried every Trader Joe's, everything, because, they only really have their own brand. So I really like that store.
I do too. And you know what? The store in New York is really crowded. But I do have to say, I just posted a recipe on mybestparentingadvice.com. Excuse me. It's for mandel bread, which is like softer biscotti. And I posted it because you can do it with your kids during the summer, any other time. But these are great cookies to dunk in something, and you can cut them in small pieces, which I cut everything tiny because I feel like if I eat two, I'm getting enough. Anyway, so if you go to mybestparentingadvice.com under Blythe's favorite tips, you'll see the recipe. Just reminded me of that. So what are the top 3 tips for aging backwards?
Well, we kind of covered them, but this is good as a wrap-up. And my number one top tip is exercise is the fountain of youth. And we talked about that, and a lot of people say, well, good for you. You can exercise. I can't, or I don't want to. But, I think the hardest part of exercise is just getting started. So I have a little tip for that. For people whose doctors say they can exercise, my tip is, believe me, I'm no saint. Even I don't want to exercise sometimes, a lot of times. But what I found is if I just put on my cute little outfit that I feel adorable in, and I put on my exercise shoes, and I just get started, I trick myself. I say, you know what? I'm tired and I don't want to exercise today. I'm just going to put on the outfit. I'm going to start slow and pretend. I'm not really going to work out. I'm just going to, do a little something so I'm not sitting down. Within 5 minutes, you just find your second wind. It's amazing. I'm sure you've experienced that.
You know what? I have, and I have to tell you just this past week because I got sick for some reason all winter with colds and sinus and bronchitis. And the other day I said, I'm only going to walk around the block 3 times. I'm just going to start because I haven't really done anything, and I couldn't stop. I did about 8 times, and I felt so much better.
Right? It's all about getting started. So that's really my number one tip. My second topmost tip is, well, you know what? I want to add one other thing about exercise being the fountain of youth, is that I also do facial exercise. It's a program called Facial Magic, and, you can just Google that. But I've been doing it for about 5 years. And I'm telling you, it works. I have no Botox. I have no injections. The other day, I was going through a guard gate where I got into a chat with the woman who was the guard. And we got to talking, and I told her, I just turned 55. And she's like, what? You don't even look 30. I had just done the facial exercises, 3 days in a row. And so facial exercise along with exercising your body. Tip number 2.
My mother is probably applauding you. She's listening because she's been telling me that for years.
Well, I don't know how old you are, Blythe, but let me tell you, you better get started on that. If you're over 21, I think you are.
I'm sorry, what?
I said if you're over 21, and I think you are.
Just a little.
Then you should get started on facial exercises. We can talk, later if you want more info on that, but basically it's facialmagic.com. So getting back to tip number 2.
Yes, we have about 2 minutes.
2. We sort of touched on it for 1 second when I was talking about volunteering, but sleep. Sleep is one of the most important things you can do to stay young and healthy. Your body actually tunes up when you're sleeping. The experts have found this out. It's all about tuning up your hormones and balancing the hormones and, tuning up all of the things that your body needs to rest at night. And yes, at night, because they've done a lot of studies that show people who work those overnight shifts, it's not as healthy for you. A lot of people can't help it, and I really feel for those people. But sleeping 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours a night is so important. I jokingly say, why pay for hormones when you can get them for free?
And it's, you know what, it's true. There's nothing like a good night's sleep. And I tell my moms, the world will look like a different and better place if you get some sleep.
Exactly.
So tip number 3 before we let you go.
Yeah, tip number 3, I usually use the volunteering on a regular basis tip, but we already covered that. So I'm going to cover a different tip that's also really important, and that is there's a reason for the saying laughter is the best medicine.
I love this.
Laughter releases hormones in your brain that make you feel good. And here's an interesting factoid. I love that word. They've done studies, they being the experts who do these studies, that found that even if you fake a smile or fake a laugh, you can actually make yourself feel better and release those same hormones in your brain with a fake laugh. So once the hormones are released, that could turn into a real laugh, or you can, go online and find jokes and make yourself laugh. But really, it is so important. In fact, there was one hospital in Mexico where the doctors did a study. They dressed as clowns. Some people are afraid of clowns, but I think these were for grown-ups. The doctors dressed as clowns and made the patients laugh as part of their treatment. Isn't that incredible?
You know what? Quickly, before we say goodbye to you, what's your favorite, funniest movie? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, well, I have several favorite funniest movies. One of them is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I thought that was like one of the funniest movies ever made. And I also love Shallow Hal. That was a funny movie, too.
That was really funny. I have to say, I'm probably sick because I love anything with Melissa McCarthy in it. She just cracks me up.
Well, you'll be happy to know that she has a new movie coming out.
I know. I saw that. It's pretty funny. But you're right. Laughter is the best medicine. And you know what? Thanks for being on the show, and we will talk to you again soon. You were great.
Thanks so much for having me.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
Welcome to The Quip with Miriam Nicole Huffman, a modern woman's guide to styling her faith, family, and finances. The online radio show dedicated to today's positive, purpose-driven woman who's ready to heal her heart, her head, and her household by realigning with what she values most. If your highest values are faith, family, finances, and freedom, you're in the right place. Host Miriam Nicole Huffman is a woman on a mission. Her Mess to Success journey has taken her from life as an upper-middle-class stay-at-home mom to a broke single mom to living a life of joy and wholeness as she builds a thriving business while raising her healthy, happy family. Every week on The Quip, Miriam Nicole shares her love, life, legal, and lifestyle success secrets. Whether it's wisdom you're seeking, inspiration and motivation from someone who's hit rock bottom and risen to success, or you want to know how to fully align your faith, family, and finances to create more freedom for yourself, you're in excellent hands with Miriam Nicole. Check out past shows by clicking on the podcast player to the right, or check our recent guests in the blog below. Got a question for Miriam Nicole? Want to be a guest on her show? Email us at thequip@miriamnicolehuffman.com. And join us every Thursday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
It's time to uncover the inspired team leader within you. Overcome the challenges of hidden agendas and miscommunications that create stress and a lack of productivity. project management expert Norm Prevost and connection expert Heather Hansen O'Neill will provide you with a consistent infusion of inspiration and team strategies. In addition, your hosts will invite knowledgeable leaders to inject different viewpoints, situations, and solutions for an all-encompassing perspective on achieving winning team performance. Spend 1 hour each Friday transforming your mindset and increasing your skills. The Inspired Team Leader Show, your path to innovative ideas and action items you can implement today to create a more productive team and feel amazing in your role. The Inspired Team Leader Show, heard every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time on ABRN, the All Business Radio Network.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back. I had to say bye-bye to Jackie Silver. She had to run, but I am so excited. I have a surprise guest for this last segment. We have Sandra Beck on from Military Mom Talk Radio, another radio host, and she's also on a show with Linda Franklin. Sandra, I can't remember the name of the show. It's early here in Arizona. Powered Up Radio. That's a great show, too. But anyway, Jackie and I were talking about beauty tips, and I want to kind of stay on this topic because it's so interesting. You know, new moms are so tired, and not even new moms. Women in general, you know, always say is, I'm really tired. I didn't get enough sleep. I don't have time to exercise. But I know one thing that you love, because we've had this discussion before, is coconut oil.
Oh, I use it for everything, Blythe. Everything. I mean, I got these big jugs at Sam's Club or Costco, you know, whenever they have them there, you know, and they have the organic stuff, you know, which I hope is better. But I've used it everything from the kid's skin to diaper rash to put on cuts because of its antibacterial properties. I smear it all over my face because it helps me clear up when I have dry skin or like baggy, puffy eyes in the morning. And then I also rub it on my hands and I put it on my hair because half the time, Blythe, I run out of the house with my hair wet. It's bleached in the sun from baseball. It's chlorine from the pool. And the idea that I can, you know, have the time to really take care of my hair with what needs to be done, you know, like with nice shampoo and leave my conditioner in and deep condition. Oh, forget it. So
I know.
I know. I put that stuff on my hair, and I put it on the ends of my hair when I go swimming. I just keep a jug of it in my kitchen, in the bathroom, and then I put scoops of it in the boys' smoothies. I mean, I use it for everything.
You know, it's interesting because I just saw it was on the news that people actually take it and swish it around in their mouth and spit it out because it gets rid of the bacteria. Have you seen that one?
It's wonderful. I mean, I hate to be like, oh, it's the snake oil miracle drug, but, you know, it really does help the kids' cuts heal faster naturally, you know, but I like things like Neosporin and stuff like that if it's infected, but, you know, I don't want to put chemicals on my kids all the time. So, you know, coconut oil just has so many wonderful properties. And the other thing it has in it, you know, I have a very good friend, one of my best friends is a nutritionist and a dietitian, a registered dietitian, and a chiropractor. Those are her skill sets. And she tells me to put a scoop, just a spoonful of it in the kids' smoothies in the morning because the fat in there helps their brain, because I guess our brains are a lot of fat and all the nerve endings have fat. The myelin sheath is all fat. So she's like, this is a really good fat to help your kids' brains. I mean, it's amazing. But you know what? It's not licensed by the pharmaceutical companies. People can't make $1 million off it. But you know what? You can go to Sam's Club and buy a jug and help yourself and help your kids.
Well, and you know, just because I have to say, I use lots of things. You know, I love taking supplements and all of that. And you have to choose what works for you. I tried something different a couple weeks ago. I was making some French toast. You know what? It's great if you want to cook something. It kind of keeps it crispy but moist inside. And I thought it would go away. What about for people? I mean, do you cook with it too when you're going to?
I do. because, olive oil degrades. And, I'm going to go back to my old cooking school education, but olive oil degrades when you cook with it. And butter really burns after a certain point. And the nice thing about coconut oil is it really doesn't have a heavy flavor like olive oil does, and it has a high smoke point, which means you can get that griddle really hot for pancakes, and make some really nice crispy flapjacks or French toast, things like that require a nice crisp to taste good, and you get that crunch. And you can do it also with quesadillas. I use it for quesadillas because I like to cook the quesadilla in the microwave first, melt the cheese, and then it gets that really, really good, crispy, flavorful brown on each side of the quesadilla or grilled cheese. It really gives a good golden glow, and it doesn't degrade. It doesn't break down and become unhealthy for us like olive oil does when you cook with it at high temperatures.
Right, and it doesn't give it the taste. But you do, sometimes I taste it a little, but it's a good taste. It's not, I love coconut anyway, but it's not like you're going to taste big coconut flavor.
No.
For people that have never, used it on their skin, does it go into your skin? Do you absorb it, or do you have to wipe it off?
No, the thing about the molecules in coconut oil is they're very tiny, and they slip right into your skin. So you can put the coconut oil, and I use this a lot on my 80-year-old dad, because as we get older, our skin gets paper thin. Our skin thins out as we age. And so when you're looking at handling, like I live in the desert, my dad's in the pool, that's a lot of wear and tear on your skin. And you can use that, just a very, very light coating, and it does two things. One, it gives a nice little reflective shine so your skin looks healthier, but it gives you that protective antibacterial coating. If you have a nick or a scratch, you don't want to get infected, or in my dad's case, his skin just splits because it's old. And the other thing that it does is it provides a moisture barrier. So if you put a little bit on after your shower, and the thing is, you don't need a lot. Just coating your hands a little bit and rubbing it on is enough. It's not like you need to put a heavy lotion on, and it's light and it breathes.
That's good to know, because I know when you cook with it, you think you need a huge glob of it. You don't. Well, even a teaspoon when you're going to make something, it liquefies almost immediately, so you don't need a lot for any of this. So sometimes, it may look like it's expensive in the jar, but it lasts forever, and you don't have to put it in the refrigerator either, which I found out.
Well, and I buy those great big industrial tubs, it looks like the size of a gallon of milk, and then I use little containers, like little salsa containers, the little plastic ones like you get from Chili's, or, the take-home containers. I just rinse them out, and I make just little tubs of them, and my kids have them in their bathrooms. I keep a little tub in each bathroom because we use a lot as lip balm, too, especially in the winter months when we have the heat on and it's so dry, and everybody's just cracking up. And the kids can lick it all day long, and they're not getting, like some of the chapsticks have a lot of dye in them, or they have menthol in them that stings. And, when you have kids with coconut oil, they stick their finger in there. If they want to eat it, stick it up their nose, put it in their ear, wipe it all over every body part. They're fine, because that's what kids do.
That's such a great tip, because I have to tell you, I have seen more kids since I've worked in preschools for so many years. For some reason, they get addicted to chapstick. It comes, in all ice cream flavors now, and I have had to take away so many little tubes of chapstick in the 2-year-old and the 3-year-old room, because they do actually eat it, and there are a lot of chemicals, and there are a lot of dyes, and you know what? And it's not safe anyway. Don't send your kids to school with chapstick. Put on the coconut oil.
It's a choking hazard. The cap is a choking hazard.
Oh, yeah.
I pulled a chunk of, I kid you not, at Vacation Bible School one year, I pulled a chunk of chapstick out of a kid's nose, because what he did was he opened it all the way, and then for whatever reason he thought this would be a good thing to stick up my nose, and it was waxy. So whereas the coconut oil melts at body temperature, I think it has a melt point of 80 degrees. It starts to liquefy, so you can't injure yourself sticking that into a body part. But we were trying to get that wax blob out of this kid's nose, without shoving it up even farther.
And you know what? And kids do stick things in their noses and their ears. They find a hole, and that's what they do. And I'll tell you what, it's it can be scary trying to get the stuff out. A lot of kids go to the pediatricians to get things pulled out. So quickly, we're going to end the show in just a few minutes. I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you have a favorite beauty tip that you love besides the coconut oil?
Yes, I do. And, as natural a person as I am with everything else, my big beauty tip for hagged out, overworked, underslept, overfed mothers is sunless tanning cream on your face. Because, I know we are supposed to be chemical free, but I will tell you that's my one thing because it masks that white, ashy face I get when I'm exhausted. So when I get up in the morning and I brush my teeth, I throw a little whitener on my toothbrush, the 5-minute whitening gel. I put a little bit of that cream. I buy the Neutrogena, just the cheap stuff. I spray it on my face. It gives me a little hint of color, and that way I don't look like an old dish rag when I look in the mirror.
Oh, Sandra, you don't look like an old dish rag. So anyway, but that's a good tip because we all look better when we're tan. I think so too, but sitting out in that sun is so bad for your skin. Anyway, Sandra, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm so excited that you came on as a surprise guest, and you have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye. Wow, that's so great. I'm so happy Sandra's on the show. I just love her, and she has terrific shows. Powered Up with Linda Franklin, Military Mom Talk Radio, on TogiNet.com. Pull up the site and look at all our other great shows. So next week, my guest will be Alan Vaisberg from the School of Human Potential. We're going to be talking all about everything from the new crazy with a new baby to not becoming roommates with your partner once you have that baby. It's going to be a terrific show. I can't wait to talk to Alan. And again, don't forget to check out my websites, babyinstructions.com, mybestparentingadvice.com, recipes, articles, everything. Check it out. It's so much fun. And I want to leave you at the end of my show with these wonderful words of wisdom. You can create beauty with your attitude, your behavior, your actions. It's all up to you. So be crazy, be stupid, be silly, be weird, be whatever, because life is too short to be anything but happy. So keep doing those jumping jacks, as Jackie Silver says. Exercise, sleep. Don't forget to laugh each day. Enjoy your children. Kids are really funny, and you'll have lots of stories to remember as they grow up. Just enjoy your life each day. And I'm so happy you could tune in. The summer's just starting. Have a great rest of the week with lots of fun. A great summer, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.